Anyone who enjoys being alone is either a god or a wild animal. What do some people think of when they hear the word? Imagining being alone makes their hearts race. Days of being alone and in silence, not close enough to talk to anyone, and some people find peace in company, in this silence, finding their true strength and imagination when you're away from the ever-present buzz of society. Still, even in our very linked world, loneliness can start to creep in, putting shadows over our minds, and in terms of mental health, much like the problems the wise hermit had to deal with, Marcus Aurelius, a scholar. But what if being alone wasn't a bad thing, but actually a chance that was hidden and chance to think, to learn, and to take advantage of this chance to get better? But isn't without its problems, the going on a journey into solitude can be scary. It feels like you're on the edge of an unknown wilderness, not sure what lies ahead. After that, and there's not much space between helpful alone time and the kind that hurts our health and makes us quiet. Moments into sources of stress and worry. Despair. How do we walk this fine line? Making the time we spend alone a powerful. This movie is a tool for personal growth, explores how to be alone with ideas that came from the thought of Marcus Aurelius, was a tough guy who knew why accepting solitude is important for. Whether you choose to or not, reflective growth forced us to learn how to be alone in a solitude can be changed in a good way. Turned a feared enemy into a trusted ally as we go through life. So if the of being alone makes you feel more uneasy, then peace stay until the end of this trip through the silence you used to feel threatening can lead to make strength one your own. Take care of yourself. Host. Our bodies are designed to make us social, wanting to connect, and often being afraid to. Being alone is an art, but being alone is an important part of growing as a person, and St. Thomas taught us that happiness is self-sufficiency, and happiness comes from inside, an idea that is still important today 1,000 years ago. Let's be honest. Accepting solitude doesn't mean avoiding it. The world, or becoming more like a stereotype lone wolf, but about making your own best business. This starts with changing the way we see and treat being ourselves during those times of alone time. Imagine having guests over at your house. Would you give yourself the best seat, have a nice chat, and serve a meal that was made with care? Self-hosting teaches us how to grow. Being kind to ourselves and treating our time alone isn't a blank space to be not full, but as a chance for taking care of yourself, and looking inward and taking care of oneself goes beyond just thoughts and into. In our real world, it's simple too. We forget about our surroundings, especially when we're the only ones having them. But the state of our living place. Our mood is greatly affected by seeing oneself as messy and uncared for. It's just as heavy to think about home. A clean load, on the other hand, a well-organized room can be a safe place for growth and thought. I took the time to clean up. Not only for other people, but also for ourselves, is a real-life example of self-respect. It's something outside that strengthens the idea inside us that we are worth the work that was done to prepare for a good and useful time alone. Besides, the conversation we have with ourselves by ourselves shapes our sense of self-worth and attitude on life, the Stoic practice of paying attention to our thoughts. It's important to fight bad self-talk. Great way to keep your mind strong. Being alone gives you a unique chance to become aware of our inner story and gently lead it toward more caring and helpful talks. Mean that it's about ending a guide to oneself who gives support and knowledge with the same kindness we would give to a close friend. Keep in mind that we are always linked. Remember that we're always linked. Being alone often comes with the weight of being alone can be very powerful. Deepen our connection to the world around us. Our time is marked by social networks, and in a strange way, constant connection can add to our sense of being alone. It's important to learn the art of not being lonely when you're alone. The key isn't to fill every void moment with other things going on, but in realizing that being by yourself has a one-of-a-kind chance to connect with each other and, by implication, with the univ. For the most part, it's about realizing that below our own personal stories, we share a shared journey as people. Realizing this can change solitude from a state to be afraid of into a state to be valued for changing the way we see things on solitude starts with growing. Being aware and present instead of letting the mind think about what is. No one who is missing can focus on the moment and enjoy the simple things, different parts of life, like feeling the sun on your face and listening to birds singing or enjoying the taste of these times with food, remind us of the beauty of what we share of life, as the old philosopher Epicus said, that it's not the events that matter, things in life that bother us, but how we respond to them when we pick solitude rather than a loss, as a chance we let a better life happen to us. And linked life to really accepting solitude, one must also grow having a friendship with yourself that is based about being kind, and for self-respect, this means doing things that are good for the heart and read and write to keep your mind fresh. Or doing something fun for fun, it means treating oneself with the same kindness and having in mind that we would offer to a close friend by going alone turns into a time of growth and getting to know yourself in the quiet, not lonely, but with the deep understanding that we are never really alone. We are always a part of the complex web of life, linked to everything and everyone if we only open. It breaks our hearts to see it, sit with, take a seat with it. Has it ever been something you tried to avoid? Getting your own business distractions when there is silence too loud. This happens a lot in our modern lives that are always connected. Choosing to be alone isn't just a being able to sit, is an art that you have to learn. With your own thoughts without trying to find validation or fun from outside sources can change your inner scenery. It's about facing the parts of ourselves often run away because they're afraid of bugs. The dreams we're afraid to go after. Trying to become friends with solitude. That doesn't mean cutting the world off. Means looking into the world that is just as big and interesting as the outside methods, such as relaxation, and one way to do this is to keep a notebook. Mindfulness teaches us to go on an inner journey, pay attention to our feelings and thoughts without being judged to see the stress in our minds and in our bodies, note-taking, which we will talk about more. In later parts of the video, we can clearly state these observations by answers that are clear and sometimes shocking. Out in the open, when was the last when you really asked yourself how you were feeling without ready for a usual fine as an answer? Learning too. It takes guts to be alone. Bravely going toward solitude changes more than just our minds, but it's about our whole lives. Getting stronger on the inside so that we can stand when the storms come steadfast, based in the fact that we are not shaken by the noise and confusion around us. Being alone lets us go deep into the ocean of our thoughts to figure out the flow of water and waves that shape our acts and responses. It's in these times of quiet reflection that we choose what you want is real freedom. To adapt and grow, it reflects the whys of Marcus Aurelius, who made us think of, can man find a more peaceful retreat than in his own heart so dare to go into this inner holy place. Peel back the layers and face the feel uncomfortable and see the changes that are coming in when you were scared of being alone, you may just find the peace and strength you've been looking to chase follow your dreams. Let's talk about how being alone makes you feel. It's not only about being alone, it's about getting to a place where dreams aren't not even thoughts, but possible. Have you ever thought why? Sometimes it feels good to be alone in the quiet. More valuable than the biggest parties, it's because the voice came through in those quiet times that leads you to your real self. When desires become clear, it's time. You begin to understand that after the The crowd often takes us away from our own. Have you ever found a journey that was truly unique? Making yourself do things just because everyone else is watching them shows that you're not interested in or spending time on things that don't match with your drive. That's the crowd mind at work, and it's a dream thieves. Making time for yourself gives you time to think about yourself, an important step for any dream chaser. It's at times like these that clarity comes out when you're alone, and with clarity, a plan of action can be made. Getting rid of distractions makes a world where hard work and attention win the way to make dreams come true. Truth, but still a work in progress. But how do we enjoy being alone without feeling lonely? Alone, it starts with making the story that being alone means spending time with someone without being alone. When we do something we love, we feel fulfilled. Not far behind getting rid of loneliness. The math is about having fun. The steps, as they know that each one taken brings us one step closer to, it was only a dream once, but remember the way to follow your dreams is alone, but never. It is lonely, but it is full of self-discovery, perseverance, and finally the understanding that inside us lies the power to make our dreams come true. Truth, if you've learned anything of value so far, give it a thumbs up to show yours. Help 5 people discover nature. There's an discover nature. There is an old saying that says nature do not rush. Everything has already been done. Do you ever feel like everything around you is against you, is going too fast, and making you want solitude? But I don't know how to accept it. It doesn't have to be alone to make you feel something. Instead, picture being alone or bored as a free call to discover nature, to get back in touch with yourself during the peace and quiet of the great outdoors. The journey of silence, isn't about getting away. Life, but more about getting to know a better knowing and being at peace with yourself. What's the harm in letting nature do it? Help you think about it. When was the last time you really saw the details of a leaf, the shapes of how tree bark looks, or how easy nature in its quiet flight of a bird? Being wise teaches us how to be. Show it's during these quiet times you can only hear your own voice for sure. Begin with something as simple as a walk by yourself in the park. Pay attention and think about what you think surface when they have room to do so. Soak it all in. How does being alone make you feel? Think this practice isn't about being alone, but about making a place where you can do well in your own business, as the Stoic view that inner peace comes from inside, not outside. The outside world. Now think about it can be hard to accept solitude not as a hurdle, but as a chance to learn and grow. What Stoicism tells us is the worth of being self-sufficient and being happy, no matter what the case is. So when you're by yourself, you can show those. Ask your emotions and mental muscles. Ask yourself what your skills are. Being unaware of parts of yourself that could you learn more or get better while with nature. This thinking about yourself isn't just about self-improvement, means learning how to do a deep lesson that you have everything you need, you already have inside. 6. Create. Make something by yourself. Something you're by yourself in the world is here. It's quiet and life slows down. You can turn something into a proof of how strong you are and ideas. What will you make in these during times of silence? Will it be a poem, a yard, a theme song, or maybe a plan to start over? The act of making is transformational. It's a talk with the most important parts of who you are with. With each thing you make, you build a bridge. Between your mind and the real world, you live in your hands, your mind, your heart, into tools of your own. When was the last time you really heard your thoughts and found sitting there with your own thoughts? And sometimes they make the most noise. What do you do with your guests? Pick out the ones that make you feel good. Get stronger and let go of the rest. Like changing the way you think, the way a sculptor shapes clay on purpose and focused on getting past a problem. Flip the script. That's not a dead end, but a side trip that leads you to growth. you how to do well in your own business. Keep drawing pictures of your life, but don't sure of yourself. Let every move be on purpose, not twisted by doubting yourself. When you're by yourself, isn't about being empty, is a place you fill with your drive and dreams come true. It's not just the end when you're alone. Item. It's a trip of self-discovery through making things. Learn to be patient, strong, and honest. Getting pleasure from bringing something into something that wasn't there before. So, why not begin a job that has been mined for a long time, or maybe find a new hobby that makes you feel, are you interested in the seed you plant today? May grow into a tree. You didn't expect to get stronger in the calm pursuit of personal. Remember that growth is not a gift. It's an important part of the conversation with C for yourself. What you can find in these moments is your true self revealed and not afraid and ready to add a verse in the great story of life 7. Engage, reflect on yourself, and write in a journal. In writing and thinking about yourself, starting the journey of being alone, there's more to it than just being alone, but having a conversation about reflection. Picture Marcus Aurelius in your mind, not only as ruler, but also as a man who made his reflections into a lead his. How about meditations? What if your thoughts and these thoughts could also be your guide through the peaks and slopes of life? This isn't about creating perfect prose, but about pouring out your thoughts and learning from them. Have you considered that the simple act of writing could unlock doors within you that you never realized existed, going deep into the art of self-analysis and writing in a book show? A fact that can't be denied. It's a conversation being honest with yourself. When you're writing down your fears and thoughts, goals, you're not just taking notes on things. You're doing a type of mind. Clearing out this process shines a light on what you really want and the problems you might be going through. It's like having a heart-to-heart talk with a friend who knows you well. How often do? These are the tough questions we ask ourselves. Having to face our true thoughts and the reasons for what we did in this process can change things and act as a mirror that shows us our deepest thoughts, bring back to us the way to find ourselves. Journaling isn't easy, but it's a good way to. It wasn't meant to be, but it forces you to look at the raw, uncut version of your own. But it's in these pages to grow and understand yourself. Bear in mind that Marcus Aurelius never meant for people to read his works by others thought they were his personal thoughts as a way to find his way, world, and his mind. But these works give deep views into the human, a condition that has been around for a long time. What wise words might your journal have for I love you not only today, but also for all time? As you go through life, take part in, do this not as a job, but as in go, on a journey into the depths of your soul, the beauty of being alone and being clear. You might be surprised by what it brings. We have something really cool for you, because you stayed until the end. It's not a secret that Stoicism has more to offer than just tips on how to enjoy your own company. It's a way to live a full life with purpose and joy. So if you are you sick of having a life without meaning? Of meaning or happiness, now's your chance to become one of thousands of people who are already making their lives better. Don't wait. Don't be stubborn. Click on the link below to reserve your spot. Enjoy the video and don't forget to check it out. Chance to make changes in your life. They will thank you in the future.